Y'all might as well take them brackets of yours and rip it up to shreds because ain't nobody getting a perfect bracket because what in God's name was that race? It was absolute chaos, but it was also peak NASCAR at its finest. Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Jet. Welcome back to episode of MDK Racing Victory Step. Hope we're having a wonderful night. It is midnight, but I'm all jacked up. I'm 10 out of 10 excited because once again, Atlanta Motor Speedway, I'm not calling it that other name, I'm calling it Atlanta Motor Speedway, once again produces another classic. Mwah! Absolute phenomenal race, phenomenal finish, the huge one, brackets busted, Chase Elliott showing emotion. We got a lot to talk about. The big move happened in the closing laps when Chase Elliott, he took it 3 wide on Tyler Reddick and his teammate Alex Bowman in the closing laps to set himself in prime position to attack Brad Keselowski. And on the final lap, got a good push on the front straightaway by Alex Bowman, swoops down to the inside, drives on to the bottom, comes up, takes the lead, and with Alex Bowman trying to get by Brad Keselowski and not push him to catch up to his teammate Chase Elliott, that was all she wrote. Chase Elliott goes on to win at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the second time in his career, his first win since Texas last year, snapping a 44 race winless streak, and more importantly, he is now advancing, officially confirmed, locked into the NASCAR playoffs, becoming the 12th different winner of 2025 in an absolutely remarkable finish that was action-packed from start to finish. Let's take a look at the unofficial results. So, in second place, Brad Keselowski, we're going to discuss him in a little bit, once again had a great car, I believe he led the most laps, but unfortunately does not come home with the W. Third is Alex Bowman, another great run for him in that 48 team. And fourth to fifth, Toyota drivers Tyler Reddick and Eric Jones in fifth place. What a run for him. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he was all over the place and came home in sixth place, nearly had a shot at winning. Zane Smith, another driver, I mentioned him in the pre-race show, he was going to be fast, showed great speed, led a lot of laps, made some very aggressive moves for the race lead in seventh. Ty Dillon, the underdog, we're going to talk about him. He flips the bracket board. Everyone's bracket is busted because he beats Denny Hamlin to advance into round number 2. Chris Buescher, another great run he had here tonight, led some laps in 9th place. And Carson Hocevar was at the back, came to the front, was involved in that major crash we're going to discuss, came back up to the front for a top 10 finish. Look at Connor Zilic, 11th place, and what, his third cup start, 11th place run for him. Clean race, didn't get into any trouble, just made it to the end. AJ Allmendinger, Cody freaking Ware in 13th, Ty Gibbs 14th, and Ryan Preece in top 15. BJ McLeod, my boy BJ in 16th, Larson 17th, McDowell 18th, Custer and Austin Dillon in 19th and 20th. Now, I mean, all these other drivers just had awful days. I mean, Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace was involved in almost every wreck you can imagine. If there was a wreck, if there was a caution, Bubba was in it somehow. Justin Haley, he crashed late. Shane Van Gisbergen crashed late. Noah Gregson, Nemechek, Gillen, Herbst, David Starr, and Christopher Bell. And then look at these other drivers. Denny Hamlin, Josh Berry, Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, William Byron, Austin Cindric, Corey LaJoie, and Ryan Blaney. Now, for drivers like Ryan Blaney, they were involved in an accident earlier in the race where Christopher Bell got loose in turns 3 and 4 and spun, and Ryan Blaney unfortunately got involved in that mess after he got tapped by Austin Dillon. For some reason, Ryan Blaney's just always involved in accidents where he gets right clipped in the right rear and boom, into the wall. Like, I don't know what is with him and always being involved with that type of crash. But those big drivers like Hamlin, like Logano, all because of not just the big one, it was the huge one. On the back straightaway, just bumpers not aligned. Drivers, for some reason, they're racing like it was 10 laps ago, not even halfway in the race. Bumpers don't align. Boom! There they go. 21 cars involved in this melee, this mess, this murder scene. It looked like just cars, sheet metal, smoke flying all over the racetrack. The back stretch had a gray color, but it looked black because the amount of tire marks that were scattered all over the racetrack. And it was just an absolute mess. And that completely flipped the playoff picture, I should say the race, because all the drivers we expected to be up front, they were gone. I mean, Joey Logano, for about the first 40 some odd laps, was leading this race up until we had a red flag due to rain. So it completely changed the picture of, well, who do we go for now? After that, you had these randos jump up in the mix. Riley Herbst, Shane Van Gisbergen, drivers that should not be up front, mixing up with the guys like Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman, and Chris Buescher. But let me say this. I mean, this race, there was that little squabble, little mess, but man, this race, peak NASCAR, peak Atlanta. I mean, after that wreck, we saw Reddick, Bowman, Zane Smith, Brad Keselowski. I think I said Reddick already. I'm trying to remember some other drivers. Stenhouse made some great moves. I mean, there were a Buescher made some great moves. Chase Elliott. I mean, these guys were nuts. I mean, just swapping the lead back and forth, making moves, making runs. I mean, it was super speedway racing like in the old days where drivers could generate runs, and it felt like they were at the control of their own destiny. They could make the passes that they want to make. They could do things with their cars if the car was either A, handling right, or B, if they had the experience or balls to do such moves that they did on the racetrack for the rest of the race. I mean, it was just phenomenal. I can't describe it in any other way. It was phenomenal racing. And once again, I'm just begging for NASCAR. I know they probably will never do this because I know TNT wanted to start their coverage at Atlanta, and I get that. So probably will never happen, but I beg, move Atlanta as the regular season finale and put Daytona back as the 4th of July because Atlanta is what super speedway racing should be. Daytona and Talladega is not it anymore. And it's mainly the cars, not so much the track because the track hasn't changed. It's the car. But for some reason, Atlanta works with this car. I don't know why, but it does. Every time we go to Atlanta, the racing is just amazing. Absolutely phenomenal super speedway racing. And it's exactly what super speedway racing should be. It was amazing. Unbelievable. Race of the year. Race of the year. I will say it. I'm gonna give my rating in this race a bit early. Scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna give this about a 9.5. This is a 9.5. I'm telling you. That big one kinda dropped it down a little bit, so I'm gonna give it a 9.5, maybe 9, but around that range. Regardless, it's an A. An A. That's what this race was. An A. And it's interesting, I can't really discuss on which, drivers, because there were no trends in this race. After that major crash, it was those drivers that I mentioned, Reddick, Bowman, Elliott, Keselowski. Those were really the main core drivers. Buescher. You had some extras. You had some drivers that filled in with some good moments, like a Zane Smith, like even a Ty Dillon showed some pretty impressive stuff. He also showed some low lights where he got loose at the racetrack and hit Justin Haley, sent him sideways into the inside wall. But it was mainly those drivers that were just there the entirety rest of the race after the huge one that happened on the backstretch. I mean, hell, they were going at it even for stage 2. That stage 2 finish between Tyler Reddick and Chase Elliott, it was like reminiscent of the 2024 race with that three-way finish. I mean, down to the wire where Tyler Reddick just by mere inches beat Chase Elliott to take the stage 2 win. I mean, they were just freaking nuts, and I loved every second of it. I also got to give a mention to Ty Gibbs. He finished 14th, but he also was really, really strong in this race after that huge crash. Made some great moves, did a great job staying up front, but ultimately fell back. But still, put up a very strong effort. Once again, showing that 54 team, they're starting to build more momentum. These last few races starting to get better and better and better on all variety of racetracks. Now it's interesting because Joey Logano led the most laps with 51. However, if you look at the top 4 finishers of Elliott, Keselowski, Bowman, and Reddick, they all have almost led the most amount of laps. I mean, the race winner, Chase Elliott, he led 41 laps. Second place, Keselowski led 46 laps. Third place, Bowman led 32 laps. Those were among the lap leaders, drivers that led the most laps right behind Joey Logano. So also proved once again that Atlanta is that type of track where the best drivers and the best cars, they stay up front. They know how to get to the front and stay up front. It was also crazy because there was 45 lead changes, and I'm pretty sure there was 45 lead changes among 5 or 6 different leaders. Just those 5 or 6 drivers that I mentioned, they probably came up with 90% of those lead changes. I mean, they were swapping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was just, I can't believe I just made that sound, but I don't care. That's how excited I am, damn it. So here's a look at the playoff grid with 8 races to go in the regular season. So Chase Elliott, he's now colored in green, but also just more importantly, he is now moving up to second in the NASCAR regular season standings. That is important to see who gets those 15 extra playoff points. But Tyler Reddick plus 120 points above the cut line. He's the only driver that is safe for at least one race. Chris Buescher jumps up a spot, now plus 52. Bowman plus 39. Bubba Wallace with his just awful day now holds the final transfer spot, 23 points ahead of Ryan Preece. 18th is Eric Jones minus 49, back inside the top 20. 19th is AJ Allmendinger minus 59. And Carson Hocevar, he's back in the top 20, sitting at minus 62. And if you want to take a look at the NASCAR in-season challenge bracket, see how that looks like, I'm telling you right now, everyone's bracket gone. My bracket, half of the drivers I had advancing were all out in that major crash. So that gives you an idea on how bad that was. But advancing on, here's a look at the bracket. Advancing on is Ty Dillon beating Denny Hamlin. Keselowski beats Kyle Busch. Bowman beats Logano. Wallace beats Suarez. Nemechek beats Berry. Elliott, of course, since he won the race, he is automatically advancing. Eric Jones beats Chastain. And Stenhouse beats Christopher Bell. Major upsets, almost all of them. I think the only drivers that were not major upsets, at least on the left side of things, I would say maybe are Wallace and Elliott. That's about it. Maybe Keselowski, considering how good he's been running the past few weeks. But over on the right side of Briscoe and Gregson advances. Preece advances. Hocevar, Reddick, Allmendinger, Gibbs, Smith, and Buescher. The upsets are Gregson, of course. Preece is an upset. Hocevar is an upset. Larson and Reddick, it could go one of either way, but Larson out, not a part of the in-season challenge. That is kind of crazy to see. McDowell and Allmendinger, they were kind of pretty evenly stacked up. Gibbs and Haley. Gibbs was probably the favorite. Smith and Cindric. Smith was the underdog, so he advances there. And Buescher was the favorite to beat Gilliland. So, yeah. Very interesting to see how this in-season bracket challenge will fare out in these final 4 or these next 4 races when we go to Indy for the final. But yeah, like I said, 9.5 out of 10. TNT's coverage. Now, we've been so used to Prime, or at least I've been so used to Prime's coverage these last 5 races. It short-circuited my brain a little bit to see on or full-screen commercials on TNT. Now, there were some issues like on TNT, you would have full-screen commercials, but on True TV, where they had the in-season alt-cast, it was side-by-side. It was just weird how which channels had full screen, which channels did not. As for the coverage itself, I really much enjoyed it. Again, it carried over from the Prime broadcast. So in terms of the actual race coverage, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the little segment that TNT did where they cut to Marty Snyder in the garage pit, where it just seemed like hell was just taking over with so many different cars being left on standby on the tow trucks trying to get into the garage to get repairs. So I thought that was a nice little segment. Also really enjoyed being them at the racetrack. They had their own little stage with Shannon Spake, Jamie McMurray, and Parker Kligerman. They all vibe very well. I really enjoy their chemistry, not only in the booth, but also in the pre-race show. And the announcers, or should I say the pit reporters, also did a tremendous job. And I really appreciated with TNT after the race, even though they're kind of in a bit of a box, you know, because they're on TV, they're on traditional cable TV. They're not on streaming like Prime, where they can go on for however long they want to. They still actually had a pretty good post-race show. They were even able to still get Chase Elliott on the show to talk about him for a little bit. Still got through a lot of good interviews. So, yeah, you see, Fox? It's possible. If I were to give a rating for TNT's first coverage, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. There were some issues with it. It wasn't as good as Prime's broadcast, but it was still miles better than Fox's broadcast. Yes, Fox is down in the Mariana Trench, how bad their coverage is, but it was still really good, really enjoyable to watch. So, yeah, 8 out of 10. Really good, but there still could be some improvements to it, but then there are also some where I understand that they really cannot do. Like, they cannot have an hour-long post-race show on TNT. They just can't. Completely understand that, but maybe they could do something on Max. I don't know, but yeah. Outside of that huge one, very much enjoyed this race. For the future, NASCAR, Atlanta, summer, Saturday night, permanent. Make that an amendment in the NASCAR schedule. Atlanta in the summer, Saturday night. Whether you put it in June 28th or the final race in June to kick off TNT's coverage, or you put it 1 week later at the 4th of July, regardless of where you put it, Atlanta, summer, Saturday night, awesome, amazing. But what are your thoughts on this race? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, my name is Jet from MDK. Thanks for watching.